At 100,000 subscribers, we're giving away one World Championship replica belt. Go ahead and click subscribe today for a chance to win. Yes. Welcome back to the Ango Show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being patient these last few days as I was dealing with that severe fever. I don't know. Maybe I'm back to normal. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. But I'm back making videos. I feel at least good enough to do that. And boy, there has been some big things being talked about, not being talked about, that we're simply just going to talk about. Let's kick things off with Austin Aries. Could he be making his way back to TNA? Well, he was speaking to the Soul Sessions, and he actually revealed that he's been talking to the company for the last 3 or 4 months, and there is a possibility. It's just all about timing. This is obviously a very big deal for a variety of reasons. Austin Aries, you know, some people look at him as controversial, some people don't. Some people agree with him, some people don't agree with him. Some people don't know what a work is. Some people don't know if it was a work, if it wasn't a work, based on some of the situations that he's had in the past with Anthem and Impact. Obviously, Austin Aries, you know, very, very talented in-ring competitor. And Anthem right now, you know, they brought back Tessa Blanchard. So they brought back Tessa. Anything is possible as far as who returns, who doesn't. I don't think that matters. I think Anthem is going to do what they always do. I think Austin Aries, you know, returning to WWE is probably unlikely. I think Austin Aries going to AEW is probably unlikely. But if Austin Aries were to return to professional wrestling, I could see TNA being that destination. Now, a couple things I do want to point out here that are pretty relative to the situation. Obviously, TNA is losing a lot of their stars. They're losing a lot of their stars because they're going to WWE or AEW. And obviously that's going to happen. So we've talked about this a lot, where people in TNA end up leaving the company, and then TNA either brings back talent or they start pushing some of the talent from the bottom of the card to the top. This is one of the things that makes TNA actually very enjoyable to watch, because they've been relatively good at getting to the point, honestly, where when people kind of leave the company, they figure out a way to just keep going. And we've seen some new stars because of it, right? Like, I think it's very telling when you see, like, a guy like Steve Macklin is a perfect example. Steve Macklin was Steve Cutler in NXT. He got released, goes to TNA. He completely kills it there, does some great things there. And obviously, you know, none of that happens if other people don't leave the company. So the fact that it happens is a great thing. If Austin Aries returns to TNA, I'm not mad about it. I'm not necessarily happy about it. It's just, it is what it is. Okay, let's talk about SmackDown. They've made a change to their creative team, and yes, it is Road Dogg. According to PW Insider, WWE Hall of Famer Road Dogg Brian James has been appointed as the new co-lead writer for SmackDown. He has basically, he's working with John Swakata in heading the creative for the brand. And yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what to make of this. Listen, obviously Road Dogg's a legend in the business. I'm not going to say anything about that. I don't know what he's writing creatively or what he's not writing creatively, right? What I will say is this, though. I didn't watch SmackDown this past weekend because I was sick. And I was obviously, as you guys know, if you guys follow the channel and follow me on social media, I have not been active, right? So I wasn't even able to watch TV. That's how bad it was. I logged on to social media today, and I saw that a lot of people did not like SmackDown. Now, of course, me being subjective, and I have my own way of looking at things, I don't go off of what other people say about a show to determine whether or not I like the show, right? I don't care if social media tells me they like the show. I watch the show for myself to find out. However, obviously, there was a relatively overwhelming percentage of people that did not like SmackDown, at least from what I saw. You guys can tell me what you thought of SmackDown this past week in the comments, because, again, I didn't watch it. I plan on watching it. Obviously, I have it recorded on DVR. But for a lot of people, they just felt like it wasn't good. Now, with that being said, if that's what the overall perception is, that's not a good thing. So, listen, WWE is going to have to figure it out. SmackDown has not been necessarily the best show in a long time. Raw is consistently great. SmackDown has its inconsistencies. So for me personally, I don't know if it's going to take one person getting the creative spot and then fixing everything. I don't think that's necessarily how it works, in my opinion. This is nothing against Road Dogg. This is just how I see it. I think there is some differences between the way Raw pushes their mid-card and the way Raw pushes their women's division and the way they push their main event scene. And I think SmackDown, the only thing that's going really, really well for SmackDown that I've seen in the last year is that SmackDown's main event scene is basically carrying the show. Without even watching SmackDown this past weekend and just looking at social media, a lot of people were really big fans of what they're doing with Jacob Fatu and Solo, which tells me, again, that main event picture definitely has people intrigued, but the rest of it, not as much. So we'll have to pay attention. We'll see what happens, whether this is a good move or a bad move. We don't know. And that brings us to our final topic. Josh Alexander is headed to AEW. Okay. Am I shocked? No. No, I'm not. So for those who don't know, Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp has reported that those within AEW expect Josh Alexander to sign with the company. Some people already believe he has already signed with the company. And those in WWE had confirmed that they did not sign Josh Alexander, although they did have interest in using him. So it is expected, fully expected, that Josh Alexander has or is signing with AEW. I'm going to say this, like I said it before. I want to be very, very clear here. That way nobody gets this wrong. Josh Alexander is one of the best in-ring performers in professional wrestling today. Hands down. Hands down. Him going to AEW, him going to WWE, him working for any company that's willing to pay him big money, it's what he deserves. I'm not going to sit here and talk about creative. I'm not going to sit here and talk about a company versus company thing. Just strictly off of his talents, he deserves to get paid. He did a lot of great things for Impact. Impact put him on the board. I remember when he was losing on the pre-shows in TNA. Now to see him become this big star with so much potential, I'm happy for the guy. So whether it's AEW or WWE, it doesn't matter at all. Now, obviously, in AEW, I want to see him actually do big things. And I hope they do. I really hope they do. If they put him in the middle of the card doing nothing, I think that's going to be a problem. If they put him at the top of the card and get him to the top of the card, I think that's a great thing. You can't talk about this as the place where the best wrestle, and then some of these guys who are really, really good wrestlers are just doing nothing. Right? So I want Josh Alexander to be at the top of the card. That's what I would like to see. Let me know what you guys think down below.